Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to completely subvert, literally flip upside down everything you've ever been taught about standard hustle culture business advice. Forget the venture capital, forget the fancy corner office, and definitely forget scaling up to some massive corporate behemoth. Instead, we are diving deep into the brilliant cult classic philosophy of Don Lancaster. We're going to break down exactly how you can build what he calls an incredible secret money machine, a totally different business model that actually prioritizes your craft, your personal freedom, and your sanity over just endless, mindless expansion.
So, what is the absolute secret to a successful business? Take a second and just mentally list what comes to mind. If you're like most of us, you're probably picturing things like securing adequate advance financing, right? Or developing aggressive marketing campaigns, locking down a high-traffic corporate location, and hiring a team of aggressive executives. That is the traditional formula, isn't it? Well,
Okay, let's really dive into this, because if we take Lancaster's contrarian business quiz, you're going to notice a massive shift. Every single traditional corporate trait you can think of, advanced financing, aggressive marketing, that fancy downtown location, actually scores a 0 for our purposes. In fact, Lancaster argues you shouldn't just ignore these things, you should avoid them at all costs. The standard corporate playbook is basically completely opposed to the secret money machine philosophy.
now you might be wondering, what exactly is this blueprint? Simply put, the incredible secret money machine is a small technical or craft business that is uniquely tailored to your personal lifestyle. The absolute core goal here, the whole shebang, is prioritizing your creative control over endless expansion. This machine is deliberately designed to keep you in the driver's seat of your craft. It lets you do what you genuinely love, completely on your own terms, rather than finding yourself trapped at the top, or, let's be real, the bottom, of some bloated corporate hierarchy.
To actually build this machine, you need to adopt 4 foundational beliefs. First up, you must be on a technical or craft trip on a total lifestyle basis. You have to genuinely, passionately love what you do. Second, stay in control. That means staying small so you literally never have to answer to anyone else. Third, and this is a big one, your income goals should be just enough to keep going. The crazy irony here is that by not obsessing over getting filthy rich, you actually free up the mental energy to build a highly profitable machine. And fourth, just be gentle. Be gentle to yourself, to people, and to the environment. You're out there to complement others, not to aggressively crush the competition.
Now, what's really interesting about Lancaster's approach is this highly specific number, 0.834. What on earth does that mean? Well, Lancaster has this hilarious yet dead serious rule that your business should only have exactly 0.834 employees. And guess what? That employee is you, working 83.4% of the time. The remaining 16.6% of your time, that is strictly, absolutely reserved for resting, having fun, and unwinding. The moment you hire even one full-time employee, boom, you introduce inefficient communications channels, endless paperwork, and management headaches that pull you right away from your actual craft. Keep it solo.
So you're probably asking yourself, how do I fund this without investors? Well, Lancaster's rule is blunt. Front money will be blown. Starting out with too much cash is genuinely the single worst thing you can do. Take the disastrous, real-world case of the Escarpment Engineering Corporation. You had this brilliant engineer who designed an improved fire sprinkler, but instead of testing it out small, he and his partners rounded up 10 grand in advance financing. And what did they do? They immediately went out and blew that money on a massive horizontal boring mill and wildly expensive injection molds, all before they even proved the product could actually sell. When flaws popped up in the field, they had 0 cash left to pivot, and the company totally collapsed. Too much cash makes you stupid, honestly. It forces you to buy things you don't need instead of just bootstrapping it.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates what you should be relying on instead of front money, your personal value added. Think about a blank piece of typing paper for a second. It costs, what, a penny? But once you've applied your unique skills to write a best-selling manuscript on it, it's suddenly worth over $1,000. The physical material hasn't changed at all. Your unique energy, your skill, and your craft are what bridge that gap between raw materials and massive profit. When your personal value added is that high, you basically become completely immune to massive corporate competition.
Because your business is incredibly lean and built entirely on your personal value added, Lancaster sets a strict, non-negotiable baseline. You must accept absolutely no less than a 200% annual return on your cash flow. If you put $3,000 into your business expenses over a year, you need to generate at least $9,000 in income. It's 2 nickels generated for every 1 nickel you put up.
Now, to traditional corporate folks, that sounds totally impossible. But for a tiny, zero-overhead money machine driven by your personal expertise, it is the fundamental baseline of survival.
So how do you actually hit that 200% in your day-to-day operations? You have to aggressively chase the right type of revenue. There's a whole hierarchy here. First, the good stuff, cold cash. This is what you get when you supply a quality product directly to a real customer who wants it. The second type is J dollars. The J stands for imaginary. These are those supposed massive markets that don't actually exist. People who you think should buy your product, but let's be real, never actually will. And the third type is megabucks. These are the pie-in-the-sky lottery tickets, suing a big corporation or holding out for a massive buyout. Megabucks are a trap. Chase only cold, hard cash.
Now, who exactly are you selling to for that cold cash? Lancaster warns us to aggressively avoid something he calls grand falloons. Yeah, it's a quirky word. A grand falloon is a bureaucratic, monolithic corporate structure. We hear it all the time, right? People talking about what the government wants or what a massive tech company is buying. Actually, scratch that. Any big committee. But those entities, they don't actually exist. Only individual people exist. If you try to sell to a massive committee of 15 squabbling managers, you are going to get strung along, you'll lose your shirt, and you'll waste your precious time. Always, always sell directly to individual people holding their own wallets.
And just as you avoid those grand balloons, you absolutely must aggressively dodge what he calls psychic energy sinks. These are basically continuing sources of bad vibes, toxic clients, endless legal battles, petty neighborhood politics that just drain away the energy you desperately need for your machine. Consider the totally tragic case of Bill Benson, a brilliant action photographer. The guy had the perfect mobile lab, a great studio, and an incredible product, but he allowed himself to get completely consumed by psychic energy sinks. 2 divorces, endless alimony battles, and a messy bankruptcy entanglement. All his creative energy went straight to the bad vibes, and his beautiful money machine totally collapsed. You have to protect your peace.
All right, let's translate all this theory into some tactical action. Here is your start simple checklist. First, think scungy and cheap. Do not go buy a brand new metal filing cabinet if a wooden orange crate does the job, right? Second, only invest in top-tier tools if they'll undeniably pay for themselves within 3 months, no exceptions. Third, let others pay you for your fun. Look for ways to monetize your lifestyle without it feeling like work. For example, Lancaster talks about acting as a paid fire lookout for the Forest Service, which basically paid him to stay in a beautiful mountain cabin where he could write and work on his business in total peace. And finally, always, always bootstrap your way up.
So the absolutely crucial point to take away from all this is best understood through a story Lancaster tells about attending a concert. There was this unknown opening flute player who began playing incredibly complex, almost weird-sounding chords. Most of the audience grew totally bored, thinking it was just noise. But Lancaster's friend, who was a trained musician, was literally on the edge of his seat, realizing the sheer impossible mastery it took to play those exact notes. Out of thousands of people, maybe 5 understood the pure brilliance of what was happening. Lancaster's ultimate advice for your secret money machine: always play for those 5. Build your machine for the true fans who actually get and appreciate your unique mastery.
Which brings us to the big, ultimate question. Are you ready to be a doing dogger? That's Lancaster's term for someone who takes action, stays out of line, ignores the psychic energy sinks, and makes things happen on their own terms. Your limits aren't set by massive, faceless corporations. They are set by you. So really think about it. What is actually stopping you from ditching the corporate hustle right now and building a tiny, beautifully efficient, highly profitable machine tailored exactly to the life you want to live? It is time to stop chasing megabucks and start building your incredible secret money machine.